Greetings, this is Joe Valenti for Kitchen Table Politics. We're here at a mini stop in Kingston with Jenifer Rogers, who's running for Luzerne County Judge, along with her dad, Ronnie Rogers. The angle we're taking on this today is Ronnie is actually from West Pittston and got his Eagle Scout where I got my Eagle Scout, Troop 352, and his name actually came up in one of our committee meetings. We're gonna talk a little bit today about growing up in West Pittston. Ron is originally from West Pittston. Jenifer also lived in West Pittston for a little bit. Ron, you grew up in West Pittston in the Garden Village, right?
Sure did. Great experience. West Pittston was always the type of community where everybody knew everybody else, and one of those places that you knew all your neighbors, you knew everybody that lived up and down the street.
Sure, sure. And it sounded like you and your dad were somewhat instrumental in getting that Little League built.
Well, not instrumental, but I remember it being built
Okay.
As a young boy in the late 40s, and all the fathers did get together and pitched in to build that. I don't know if people realize it, but the original fence was built out of boxcars that were donated. Old boxcars from the PP&O
Sure.
up the Stanton plant up on the...
And you were involved in scouting.
Very much so.
And your scoutmaster was Bob Evans, who also was my scoutmaster. Tell me a little bit about what it was like scouting with the infamous governor.
Sure. When we were growing up as kids, of course, you had scouting and you had sports.
Okay.
So if you weren't scouting, you were playing some kind of sport. If it wasn't baseball, it was basketball or football. And that was the days when we didn't have a lot of television and things to occupy ourselves. So we'd have a lot of riverbank football games and sandlot baseball games, and we played basketball any place that we could put a hoop up on a pole.
And you got your Eagle Scout, what, in the late 50s?
I did, 1957. I got my Eagle Scout at 352.
Okay.
Under Bob Evans. There were 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
It was presented at the Methodist Church.
Sure. Now, growing up in West Pittston, where were some of the places you used to hang out and carouse? What were some of the more fonder memories that you have that you used to?
Well, everybody remembers Grabley's ice cream
right.
bar. So, I mean, at least one night a weekend you'd end up there. Place we call Pee Wee Harris's on Luzerne Avenue.
Okay.
There's a commercial building there now, a lot of offices and things. Of course, Agolino's, which it's become now a great restaurant, but just playing sandlot ball and basketball and football.
You graduated in '59 from West Pittston.
From West Pittston, right.
That was before the merger, and you went on to Dickinson?
Dickinson College, right.
Okay, and you graduated there?
I graduated in Dickinson in 1963.
And you liked scouting so much you decided to pursue it as a career?
As a career, that's right.
So just tell me a little brief history of how what were your thoughts going into that career?
Well, it was a profession that I could end up doing something I enjoyed doing, for most of my life at that point, having been involved in scouting. I had worked summers at Camp Akahila up in the Poconos from the time I was 11 until I was 19.
Sure.
Knew a lot of people that were in the profession. So just a natural transition when I got out of college to come back to the Valley and happened to be an opening.
And just stepping back for a second, you met your wife while you guys were in 8th grade. She went to
Wyoming High School.
Okay.
Madge Parkinson.
Okay, that's her maiden name.
Was her maiden name, and we actually met in 8th grade in church activities.
Okay.
Where I participated with West Pittston Group and she participated with Wyoming, but then we basically went together from the summer of our junior year and still to now.
Today.
Okay.
It sounds like
45 years this August.
Beautiful. It sounds like there's a little bit of history with your wife. Her grandfather,
her grandfather, Thomas Parkinson, was a Pennsylvania State Policeman in the Wyoming barracks. Okay. One of the first Pennsylvania State Policemen, because it started, I believe, in 1903. Okay. And he joined that year, 2 months after its inception. Sure. Got out of the state police and became the a good number of years.
Now you grew up on 4th Street, correct?
Yes. yes.
Whereabouts on 4th Street?
On 4th Street between Delaware and Philadelphia.
It was right next to the what they call the
What we
mansion.
call the
Everybody knows the
mansion,
mansion,
that's right.
sure. Were there a lot of Halloweeners there? Did they line up down the street like they do now?
Well, yes, they, in those days, the Halloweening was quite an event.
Sure.
You had to do something to get a treat.
Right.
So you'd have
right.
people come and playing musical instruments, playing songs,
Right.
singing, you know, the whole bit.
Sure.
But the mansion, there always had a big turnout, and as you walk in, the owners at the time would be sitting there, and you'd go and do your thing and get your piece of candy.
Your
or
tree,
whatever.
sure, sure. Now, Jenifer, you moved away with your dad when you were 3
Right.
to Baltimore.
Correct.
You graduated from in Baltimore, or
Right outside of Baltimore. It was
Gotcha.
Catonsville High.
sure, sure. And you lived up in. Did you live in Boston for a little bit, or
We moved to Boston
okay
when I was
with
about
your dad?
19 or 20.
Okay,
And then I graduated from college in 1989.
okay.
And I came back here in 1990.
And you actually lived in your dad's old homestead
did.
with your
I lived with my
grandfather.
grandparents.
And what was your dad's name?
Ron.
Ron Senior.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Ron.
Yeah, he was Edwin Ronald. He went by Ron.
Okay,
I went by Ronnie. That's how they knew me.
gotcha.
Here.
So you actually grew up in the Garden Village, also.
I did, yeah.
And how old were you then? Back you were probably around
Well,
30?
I came back when I was 23.
Okay,
And I lived here since 1990.
sure.
Lived with my grandparents, Helen and Ron,
Okay,
on 4th Street in the same house.
sure.
I lived there for three years, and then I went off to law school and came back and
Okay.
practiced since 1996.
Sure. And you've been practicing ever since. Where were you? Where were you working? What firm were you working with?
I worked at Horrigan, Kluger Quinn for
Okay.
9.5 years,
Okay.
and I left there in 2006
Okay.
and started my own law office, which I've had now for 3 years.
Sure. Sure. And you're running for judge.
I am. Yeah.
How many female candidates are in the
3.
race? There's three. Do you feel like you're surrounded by all men and you're just?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of a commentary on society.
Right.
I mean, when you look at the demographics of the bar, it's always going to be top heavy when it comes to men versus
Mhm.
women. But that's okay. We definitely hold our own.
Sure.
And there are 3 out of 17 candidates that are women.
Sure. Sure. Tell me a little bit about your approach to the election. What's going to be your focus? What's your, I don't know, call it a campaign slogan or your motto?
Well, my motto really is no strings attached.
Okay.
Because as this whole interview has shown you, I don't come from a political family.
Sure.
I don't come from privilege per se. I'm definitely privileged to be part of that family.
Sure.
But as far as connections or any sort of agenda, I don't have it. And obviously, sadly, our area has made national news for some of the wrong reasons.
Sure.
So I think that we need a new face to the judiciary.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I definitely have the qualifications that would enable me to serve the public well. Now, those would be honesty, integrity,
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, the ability to make a tough decision, and the ability to be compassionate.
Sure.
And I think there's a fine balance there, but I'm definitely able to do that.
Sure. Now you're gonna be having some functions at all coming up?
Yes,
Tell-
actually,
tell us
Saturday, the 28th of March,
Okay.
we're having a musical review at the Music Box Dinner Playhouse
Okay.
on Hughes Street in Swayersville. And then we're going to have a fashion show up at Huntsville Country Club on Sunday, April 19th. And we're definitely planning some other events throughout the valley at various VFWs and things of that nature. So yeah, we're definitely out there, and I'm getting out there and meeting so many wonderful people and going out to places that I haven't been ever, and it's really been wonderful because I'm able to really get out there and see the public and all the different places that make up.
You or wants to come to one of your functions or wants to help you out, what's the best way to get a hold? Do you have an email and phone number you want to?
Absolutely, sure. Well, first of all, I might as well tell you my website,
Okay.
and that's www.votejenforjudge.com.
Okay.
And an email for me would be jrogers, J-R-O-G-E-R-S, there's no D, at jrogerslegal.com.
Okay.
And my office phone is 714-8266.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Ron and Jennifer. It was a pleasure, and I'm sure we're going to catch each other out in the campaign trail, and good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.